Hey guys, it's Julia. Welcome back to another episode of Redefine Your Life. Today it's just me here, and in case you can't already tell, I'm feeling a bit under the weather, but I have my trusty tea here. I wanted to actually talk about illnesses and ailments today and what they could be trying to tell us besides, the obvious that something is out of balance and out of homeostasis in your body. I want to take some time to tell you about my personal experiences with when I get sick and some things that I've noticed, trends that I've noticed, and some hidden messages that I've noticed. I feel like universe trying to convey through an ailment or an illness. Since I've been in North Carolina, have been struggling with my allergies and my sinuses and nothing that seemed unmanageable. But what I've noticed is that each time I come back to work, like to work in the hospital, I never used to get sick until I started working in the hospital. And each time I would start a full-time job in a hospital, within the first couple of weeks of being at work, I get sick. And sure, you could attribute it to being around more germs and, being in a new environment full of stimulation and stress and all sorts of other things. But what I also realized is that it takes time for my body to adjust to these different types of changes. And besides just the stress and everything else, it feels like there's a deeper message when I get sick and when these different things happen. So, particularly this illness that I'm currently going through, I don't think it's COVID. I mean, I got a test done and waiting for the results, but it feels like it's all in my head and in my sinus area, and honestly, like in my forehead and in my face, and a little bit in my throat, as you can hear. Initially, I thought that it was just because I was stressed, like I said, at work, things being stressful. But what I'm realizing is that there's other symptoms that I've kind of been ignoring for longer than being in North Carolina, for a lot longer than that. Things like my low back hurting, and it comes and goes at random different times, but I've noticed different trends with it. And some of the things that I've come up with of what this could mean for me, the low back pain is something that tends to come and go when I feel that I'm not doing something for work that my heart aligns with. So when my work doesn't align with my heart, AKA when I have been working for someone that I didn't like, whether it was a hospital administration that I felt like was mistreating or underpaying or in some way taking more from me than it was providing to me, I notice it hurts my low back and it hurts my knees. And I know in the spiritual realm of things. So I kind of want to talk about the medical and the spiritual. That's what I'm going to blend for you guys today. But in medical terms, you would think, oh, your low back hurts because you're bending, you're leaning, you're lifting, you're doing things with improper posture, which I use proper body mechanics. So even with all of those safety precautions, my back would still get sore. And even when I was working at a swabbing center, barely doing anything, like, sitting in a chair all day, my back was hurting. And I kind of attributed it as, I don't even know what, just that I slept funny or whatever, but it kept getting worse and worse and worse until I quit that job and it went away. And each time I find myself in a position where I'm being overworked, these different type of symptoms in my body begin to manifest. And I have been able to notice my trends by journaling about them. So that's one of my suggestions I was going to leave with you is to, if you find yourself at the end of this wanting to dissect and maybe see some of your own trends in your ailments, document them. Maybe not look for something bad that happens every single day, maybe not look for illness, but just notice it, be aware of it, and write it down with the date, how you feel. Maybe just have a journal every day about how you feel. I've been doing this with my cycle, with my moon cycle, and it's very helpful because I know when my body's in a certain phase and where my hormones are at so that I can be aware of it and be in alignment with it and not push myself too far. Except that's what I feel like I was doing when I come back to work. When I come back to working in the hospital, not only because I feel like my heart work is truly in helping more than just the few patients that I can in my 12-hour shifts. You know, my heart work will really look like when my coaching business takes off and when I practice with my Reiki clients, and that's really my heart centered work. When I do that work, I don't feel exhausted. I don't feel the pain. And only if I abuse myself or allow for myself to give too much, more than I'm receiving, either financially or physically, or for whatever energy exchange is happening, when I find that I give too much, I get sick. Like I get physically sick. And it's not just like head fog and, stuff like that, which I think that's how it starts. It starts with like a head fog, and I almost feel like it's like my body's way of expelling this thing and being like, oh, this thing is making you sick. It's making you out of balance. And ignoring it, it only gets worse. And I think that can be true for all illnesses and ailments. You ignore it, it's going to get worse. And every message from universe is going to keep trying to communicate with you a little bit louder, a little bit louder now, a little bit louder. And until you listen and until you understand what it might be trying to tell you and try to make any adjustments that you can to be more in alignment with your heart-centered work and with your heart and what you're trying to do, those different pains don't go away. So for me, what I've been trying to do is process what the different ailments and what my symptoms could be trying to tell me, and trying to stay hydrated and flush my system and sort of flush out any of this toxic residual energy that might be coming at me from different places, from work, from maybe draining social interactions, from anywhere that isn't truly serving my heart center. Something else I wanted to say about illnesses is it might start as something very small and build, or it might be something that you've been dealing with your whole life. And it could be, improper nutrition, and it could be a whole slew of different things causing your ailment. But only you are going to know what's causing it if you pay attention to it and you try to learn why your body is reacting this way, whether it is through food, whether it is through lifestyle choices, whatever it is that's making you feel like shit, there's a reason. It doesn't just happen for no reason. And if you truly want to know and want to feel good, or if you want to feel good, you need to find out why and what it is, and try to live more in alignment to give your body the nourishment that it desires, the energy exchanges that it desires. All of those things that you desire to feel good will come to you when you're living in alignment, when you're living from a heart-centered place, and when you're following that heart center with actions. You're following up with actions that speak for how you want to live your life and for how you want to feel. And it's not, of course, easy. It's not going to be something that you're going to figure out right away. I'm still figuring it out, clearly. I still get sick. I still learn from it. And this time, I think I'm really going to take it to heart and use the information as ammunition and motivation to want to make better choices in alignment with my heart, to avoid serious ailments, serious illnesses, and notice when I start to have these minor symptoms to pay attention and to figure out what could be causing it, what the message could be trying to tell me. Depending on which part of your body, there's different parts of your bodies that are energy centers. So when you start to do spiritual work and just personal development work, any energy healing and stuff like that, you can focus in on which of your energy centers is out of line and try to use those types of physical things as clues. So, like my throat hurting or being raw could be a message that I'm not speaking my truth, that I'm not speaking from my heart, or that something is muffling me, or something is silencing me, or that I'm silencing myself. It could be any of those things. Those are just some examples of if your throat was hurting, it's around your throat chakra. It could be like a thyroid problem. If you know somebody who, I used to take care of a lot of patients who had thyroid cancer, and reflecting on those patients, I wish I would have asked some of them some deeper questions about themselves, and maybe if they felt in their life silenced, or that they could never speak fully how they felt, or any of those things, to see if possibly that illness and that serious disease, the cancer, was manifested from something that they ignored in their life and from living out of alignment for so long that their body couldn't take it anymore, that it was screaming for its attention, for your attention, for the body to be screaming for us to listen, to manifest into such a serious thing. But, the nurse side of me is like, no, well, what you put in is what happens. But knowing that what you put into your body is how you feed it and how you fuel it. And everything that you consume physically in your body and mentally through your eyes, through your ears, through your senses is a code for your cells. Think of the food that you put in your body, it gets digested, and it's like a transcript to tell your cells how to function. You give your food, you give your body sugar, and it's like, okay, we have these carbohydrates. Here's what we're going to do. Here's what we're going to do with it. You give your body like fruits and vegetables, it's going to take all of those nutrients and it's going to use that as programming. And on a cellular level, it's even going to exchange and cause chemical reactions in your body, which is what nerve endings do when they fire and you speak, or when you move your arms, or when you make a thought. All of those processes in your body, all the way down to a minute cellular level, are a reaction to something in your body. So what you fuel it with is how your body's going to, the program is going to run. How good the nutrients and the source of what you're giving your body is how well that programming is going to work for you, right? And that includes mindset work. That includes what you feed your brain. And that includes even the water that you drink, the air that you breathe. If the air that you breathe, you're also breathing in toxins, then you're putting toxins in your code. Your code's going to have this layer of toxic in there, and it's going to manifest somewhere in your body. So think about that. Think about what types of choices that you make and how those choices make you feel. And don't think about them to be hard on yourself. Think about them as an opportunity to make a choice. And with that, you can take your power back of your choices instead of, I always get sick, or this always happens to me, or I just have terrible luck. Maybe it's not those things. I mean, sure, maybe you have bad luck. Maybe you live in a toxic environment. But can you choose to live somewhere else? Can you choose to make different choices? Can you choose to surround yourself with better things to help you make better choices, better people, a good support system, others who are trying to listen to their bodies, who are trying to learn from those lessons, who are trying to fuel themselves the best way that they can? That's where I started. And I hope I encourage you to do the same. But I am much better today after having a talk with a friend and realizing that I might have been ignoring my ailment. And to use the phrase, I said, I'll just push through. How many of us have ever said that? I'll just push through. It'll be fine. Let me just push through. I'm sick, but I'm fine. I can push through. Or, yeah, I'm sick, but it's better to be at work because at least I'm distracted. Because at home, I would just be resting. Like, what? Of course, it's because you need rest. Get your butt home, go rest, go relax. Think about what could be causing this to be so severe that it's manifesting in your body as an ailment. And what can you do to better take care of yourself and to better listen to your body and to yourself and truly show yourself some love by respecting your body enough to put good things into it, to fuel yourself with good, to have rest days in a society that's constantly telling you that, if you're not tired, you're failing. Let's promote rest. Let's promote self-care. Let's promote living and working from a heart-centered place in alignment with who you are and the life that you're trying to live, and have that speak for itself, because I guarantee living that way, you're going to be a lot happier. You're probably going to have a lot less illnesses, and hopefully you'll learn something every single day from it. Thanks for joining me. I hope this reaches you all well and that you have a wonderful week, month, year, whatever time, place you see this. I hope it receives well. Thanks for joining me.